Debbie's looking at our schedule and she's like, artificial intelligence? What are you going to say about artificial intelligence that you haven't already said? Well, I have talked about it because, look, this AI, artificial intelligence, could very well be the new internet, a transformational technology on a number of fronts. And very often, like technology, like new technologies, this would be true of the automobile, this was true of the airplane, the phone, the computer. There are many good and bad things on the horizon, and sorting out between them and trying to figure out how we can tap into the good while avoiding the bad is not so easy. In fact, very often I tend to think that you end up getting both. The good is too irresistible to say no to the technology, and then as a result you just get the bad because there are no easy ways to block it. And so let's think about the automobile. It was certainly an instrument of freedom. It allowed people who live in the country to go to the city. It allowed people to be able to drive 100 miles to a new job that's better than the job they had before. It allows you to be able to travel. So many Americans go on vacation by driving. At the same time, it broke up or destroyed the integrity of the small town and small communities where you had people who all know each other, where by and large people lived their whole lives, and you married the girl next door and you went to work at the local bank or the local pharmacy. Suddenly all of that changed. And small towns then, many of them began to struggle. And so I'm just giving a kind of an example of how the car made huge changes that are so hard for us now even to fully grasp because we don't really know the world that there was before that. And with artificial intelligence, the same thing. Now, here's a renowned pioneer of artificial intelligence. His name is Geoffrey Hinton. He's one of the guys who invented this stuff and, in fact, invented the technology that has now led to ChatGPT, which is the AI that everyone is talking about, as well as Google's answer to ChatGPT, which is Google Bard. Now, this guy, Geoffrey Hinton, worked at Google, but he's decided to resign. But his resignation isn't because he's unhappy with Google per se. He's unhappy with the technology. He's unhappy because of the dangers it poses, and he says that it's causing him to regret his life's work. I mean, a very interesting phenomenon for a brilliant scientist and technology guy who's put so much into making something new, and then I guess what he's saying is it could become, I don't think he's saying it has become, a Frankenstein. He says, quote, "I console myself with the normal excuse, if I hadn't done it, somebody else would have." These are the people who built the atomic bomb said the same thing, which is that these technologies are based upon advancing knowledge, and ultimately it's just a matter of putting the pieces together. Now, he agrees, Hinton does, that generative AI can produce important advances in industries, some greater efficiency, better drug research, better forms of education, but there are also risks. And he mentions three, and I just want to highlight them as we think about this together. He goes, it's hard to see how you can prevent the bad actors from using it for bad things. So what are the bad things? Well, the first bad thing he says is misinformation. Now, he doesn't mean misinformation of the kind that is being censored by the digital platforms. Oh, Dinesh, you're talking about climate change. It's misinformation. No, he's not talking about that. What he's saying is that with artificial intelligence, you can create fake pictures. You can take somebody, let's say Dinesh, and put him somewhere that he isn't. You can take an existing photograph and manipulate it so dramatically, or even replace the person in the picture with someone else. So think about the impact of this for criminal cases. Yeah, I saw the guy and he was at the scene of the crime. Oh, no, that's a fake picture. That's not a real picture. Oh, yeah, but I saw posts on social media. Those are manipulated. Those are altered. So the line between what is seen and what is not real, the line between, let's just say, for example, that you can replicate somebody's texts and you can talk exactly like them. You can use their very similar lingo. You can pick up all the people that they know and refer to those people And then you present them. Here are Tucker Carlson's texts. Here are W. D'Souza's texts. And it's not their texts, or there are some of their texts mixed in with others that are not. So this is the kind of misinformation he's worried about. The whole internet becomes untrustworthy. Number two, displacing jobs. And here Hinton says, it's one thing to say that there's an industry here, an industry there, and we've figured out through technology how to make things more efficient. Look at the way, for example, that booking on Expedia, booking directly at hotels.com, these are things that travel agents used to do. And now there are still some travel agents left, but not a whole lot. So that industry has been transformed. But what Hinton is saying is, what if every industry is transformed in this way? What if you no longer need, let's say, teachers? What if you no longer need paralegals or legal assistants in the entire legal profession? What if there are whole jobs and whole fields that can now be done electronically? And we're not just talking about, quote, think jobs or white-collar jobs. Even blue-collar jobs can be done by intelligent robots. And they will load everything, and they will stack everything, and they will organize the Amazon warehouse as they do now. So Hinton is saying, what really happens to a society when you have people who are rendered, in a sense, rendered unnecessary or rendered superfluous? And finally, a point I'll talk about on a separate episode because we need to go into it. The danger of AI outsmarting the human race, being able to do things and control things. Literally the plot of the Terminator, where the machines take over and begin to run they run the nuclear facilities, and they run the police force.
Maybe they can run the country.
And because maybe they can run the country, and maybe they can, but Hinton's point is, for whose benefit? The machines, think about it, when humans do something, no matter how incompetent they are or even malevolent, they're even driven by some self-interest. I'm going to do this because it's better for me, or it's better for our team, or it's better for humanity. But the machines don't care about humanity. That's not their interest, and they're emotionless. So the possibilities here are kind of scary, and I agree. So there's a lot more thinking has to go into this, but here you've got somebody at the heart of the enterprise who's saying, in a sense, I want out because I don't like where this is going.